Have you ever watched a workout video and thought, this player is about to transform the entire game? Or maybe you've seen a clip that made you ask, are they really working on what matters? In the world of women's basketball, off-season sessions can reveal more than you might think. Sometimes they're windows into a serious transformation. Other times there's smoke and mirrors, flashy clips designed to dazzle social media. Today, we're diving into two polar opposite approaches that have the entire league talking. The Indiana Fever's meticulously organized training regimen versus Angel Reese's mysteriously timed workout leak. Both are garnering massive attention online, yet for profoundly different reasons. If you're looking for a behind-the-scenes breakdown of why some players thrive while others stall, you've just found your front row seat. The Indiana Fever weren't always the first team people mentioned in WNBA conversations. In fact, for a while, they struggled to draw the kind of spotlight that big-name franchises routinely enjoyed. But this off-season, everything changed. A barrage of social media posts, training vlogs, and skill development footage placed the Fever at the center of massive viral attention. Sure, it's common for teams to share workout highlights during the summer, but something about the Fever's approach felt different, cohesive, focused, and deeply intentional. At the heart of this new movement are players like Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull. Their videos aren't mere glimpses of players shooting around in an empty gym. Instead, each clip shows them running through carefully orchestrated drills that target specific weaknesses. Maybe it's post moves for Boston, three-pointers and contested finishes for Hull, or detailed footwork for Sophie Cunningham. The coaching staff is present and actively participating, correcting form, pointing out angles, and suggesting real-time adjustments. They're not just telling these players to shoot better. They're dissecting every inch of the movement to ensure it translates seamlessly into the high-octane environment of WNBA games. But while the Fever's clips feel purposeful and methodical, another video emerged in a flurry of controversy, one that turned heads for entirely different reasons. In a league where perception can be just as important as performance, Angel Reese's leaked workout video stirred immediate chatter. Depending on who you ask, it's either a genuine attempt to showcase her hard work or a desperate response to her peers' viral successes. As soon as the clip dropped, social media lit up with comments analyzing every detail: her form, her shot selection, and even the gym's empty seats. What makes this video so curious isn't just the timing, suspiciously close to the Fever's widely shared training footage, but the content itself. In the clip, Reese, a 6'3" post player with widely publicized struggles finishing around the rim, is taking three-pointers and long jump shots. Basketball pundits and fans alike did a collective double-take. If she's truly trying to evolve her game, why not address the glaring weakness that had her missing point-blank layups last season? Why does the leaked session focus on the perimeter, which has never been her bread and butter? Naturally, the rumor mill started churning. Some people speculated that her public relations team panicked after seeing how effectively the Fever had captured the internet's attention with their well-structured training videos. Others believed Reese genuinely wants to prove she can stretch the floor, a skill that many post players develop as they mature. Still, there's no denying that the optics feel off. The overall vibe of the footage screams, "Look, I'm working too," more than "here's a carefully planned progression of skill building." All this chatter around illusions versus real development makes you wonder, what exactly does real, high-level, off-season training look like, and why does it matter so much? If you've ever watched a cut-and-dry basketball tutorial, you know how mind-numbing it can be. Players shooting from the same spot over and over, or dribbling around cones without any context. But the Fever's videos offer a different story. Each session is clinically organized to address in-game scenarios. Coach Keith Porter, the Fever's player development specialist, is seen guiding Aaliyah Boston through precise footwork drills, turning left, turning right, reacting to theoretical defenders, and incorporating finishes with both hands. Why does this matter? Because the WNBA is unforgiving. Teams dedicate entire film sessions to studying an opponent's tendencies, especially rookies who show big potential. Defenders learned how to challenge Boston last season. Now she's focusing on the specific counters to those challenges. Every missed shot or turnover from last year is being broken down to see how she can adapt. And Maz, why does this matter? Because the WNBA is unforgiving. Teams dedicate entire film sessions to studying an opponent's tendencies, especially rookies who show big potential. Defenders learned how to challenge Boston last season. Now she's focusing on the specific counters to those challenges. Every missed shot or turnover from last year is being broken down to see how she can adapt. And it's not just Boston. Lexi Hull's approach to three-point shooting, catch-and-shoot strategies, and finishing through contact all point to a broader team philosophy. Rather than aimless reps, the Fever's players get targeted instruction tailored to real game situations. The result is the kind of synergy that can propel a struggling team into contention. Instead of each player doing their own thing, every workout contributes to a system designed to highlight each member's strengths. It's no wonder fans and analysts can't stop talking about them. The Fever's approach doesn't just look productive, it looks like the blueprint for a potentially dominant future. Yet in the shadows of this newly forming powerhouse, Angel Reese's training choices come under even more scrutiny, especially when you look at the numbers behind her shot selection. Sometimes, the numbers are more revealing than the eye test. In Reese's case, her 44.5% field goal percentage from less than 5 feet put her near the bottom of the league for players of similar stature. Even more alarming is the 39.1% overall field goal percentage. Under 40 for a post player many believed could become a top-tier scorer. Dig deeper, and you find that over 40 of her rebounds came after her own missed shots. At first glance, that might seem like hustle, but in reality, it's a statistical mirage. The frequent misses inflate her rebounding averages, making it look like she's dominating the glass when, in fact, she's struggling to convert easy looks. The transcript we saw points to fans and analysts calling her out for ignoring the fundamental finishing issues that cost her team countless points last season. Those criticisms aren't without merit. There's a reason legendary figures like Lisa Leslie and Shaquille O'Neal offered her direct advice about improving her inside presence. Imagine having the ear of some of the greatest post players to ever touch a basketball, yet choosing to focus on highlight reel jump shots that rarely feature in your actual game. It's a head-scratcher. But the story doesn't stop at Angel Reese and her struggles. There's another rising star who's approached off-season development in a way that's turning heads for all the right reasons. While Angel Reese's post moves remain a question mark, Caitlin Clark has become a glowing example of intentional improvement. She's no stranger to viral clips either, but hers feel like an honest showcase of skill building. Clark zeroed in on the areas that exposed her last season, finishing through contact, resisting full-court pressure, and refining her mid-range pull-up. Unlike the scattered approach some players take, Clark's development reads like a methodical checklist. Find a weakness, drill it relentlessly, then integrate it into game-like scenarios. Fans who saw her in the second half of last season might agree she looked like a completely different player by the time the playoffs rolled around. That's the reward of acknowledging you're not perfect, identifying flaws, and hammering them until they become strengths. It's the tried-and-true formula we've seen from longtime greats like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, who extended their careers by continually adding new wrinkles to their game. Of course, Clark's star power is undeniable, and that alone can open up brand deals, social media followings, and interviews. But she hasn't let those opportunities derail her primary mission, to become one of the league's most formidable players. The difference in her approach and Angel Reese's quickly became fodder for sports talk shows. One is systematically upgrading her game piece by piece. The other appears to be chasing a highlight-worthy narrative that might not fix the root problems. So, if we're talking about real off-season transformations, the conversation has to circle back to how teams and players balance brand building with genuine skill development. Because in this league, neglecting that balance can be the difference between a legendary career and a sudden exit. In the modern sports era, players aren't just athletes, they're brands. From sponsorship deals to social media presence, building your name can set you up for life. Yet the WNBA, with fewer roster spots and a more compressed schedule, demands excellence on the court. It's not the NBA with hundreds of players circulating. WNBA teams carry a smaller roster, meaning each slot is precious. The job security, even for talented players, can be tenuous if they're not contributing to wins. Angel Reese has cultivated a massive online following that could potentially outstrip her actual in-game contributions. For many, this is reminiscent of young stars in other sports who shot to fame quickly but flamed out once defenses figured them out. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark and much of the Fever roster, though also building brands, haven't let the allure of social media overshadow the foundational skill work. Their training videos may go viral, but those clips happen to coincide with real, measurable progress. And this brand versus basketball balancing act isn't new. Consider the blueprint established by players like Candace Parker, who managed to juggle endorsements, broadcasts, and her personal life without ever letting her on-court performance slip. When fans see a mismatch between marketing hype and actual game readiness, they're quick to call it out. Right now, the verdict seems to be that the Fever's approach, along with Clark's, is genuine, while Reese's leaked footage looks closer to a PR move. Still, it's not all doom and gloom for Angel Reese. There's a world in which she turns things around by tackling her weaknesses. But for now, the contrast in approaches is both glaring and instructive, especially for any team aiming to build a dynasty. In professional sports, talk of a dynasty is usually reserved for teams that dominate over multiple seasons. While it might be premature to label the Fever as the next unstoppable force, the seeds are definitely being planted. Each off-season workout feels like another brick laid in a fortress they're carefully constructing. Players are honing not just individual skills, but also the ability to mesh those skills within a dynamic system. Their coaches evidently believe in a collaborative process. Player development doesn't happen in a vacuum, and each new skill sets off a chain reaction that can alter team chemistry. A better three-point shooter forces defenses to stretch, which opens up the paint for post players. Improved footwork in the post draws in extra defenders, creating open looks on the perimeter. When you have multiple players, each refining a different angle of the game, synergy becomes a powerful weapon. That synergy is what longtime WNBA watchers see in the Fever's off-season footage. It's the difference between a random set of highlight clips and a carefully choreographed plan. The result could be a team that doesn't just make a splash next season, but remains a consistent contender for years to come. While Indiana Fever fans are counting the days until tip-off, The rest of the league, including the Chicago Sky, may be dealing with an entirely different narrative for certain players. Basketball history is filled with talented prospects who never made the leap from potential star to actual star. The big question is whether Angel Reese will learn from the feedback, the stats, and the guidance offered by legends like Lisa Leslie to transform her weaknesses into strengths. If she can harness that knowledge, address her finishing issues, and blend it all into a robust postgame, she could still fulfill the promise many saw in her. But time is ticking. The second-year window is notoriously crucial in the WNBA. Players who arrive with hype but fail to expand their skill set often see their minutes drop or find themselves traded before they can steady their footing. The leaked workout clip might have been an attempt to assure fans and critics that she's working hard. Yet appearances only go so far if there isn't actual progress behind them. Meanwhile, Chicago Sky supporters watch anxiously. They're well aware that a steady brand presence won't save you from being benched if you can't finish a basic layup. The dissatisfaction among fans became palpable when they questioned why no Sky staff were present in Reese's video. Perception matters, and the absence of official coaching guidance feeds the narrative that she's focusing on flashover fundamentals. Ultimately, it's a harsh league. Skill development and real-time adaptation decide who thrives and who gets left behind. And in an era so driven by social media, the line between genuine effort and curated content can be razor thin.